so sorry that they couldn't arrange my slides. So from Turkey, I have brought to you many interesting videos of my disabled students, but because of this technical problem, you wouldn't see, but I'm sure that I can make you feel what we have done. Today I'm here to tell you how we can reimagine these abilities in education. I'm coming from Turkey just to tell you that we can reimagine these abilities in education all over the world. And I've been traveling all over the world just to tell this and making educational reform for those who are executed from education, just because we are not able to provide them an inclusive education. I have many different children from different cities of Turkey or all over the world with disabilities, and in my slides actually there were those who achieved thanks to our inclusive education system, but let's begin with one of the stories in which I have had the chance to be his heroine. He's called Arda. There was a picture, me and Arda sitting in our school at the beginning of the day, which was the most unhopeful, and the family was hopeless because they were sent from all other schools just because of his disabilities. Until he has found me, all schools have told his family that he needs special education because of his intellectual disability. When his family came to me, especially his mom, was devastated and tired of sending him to different schools and witnessing her son always being excluded. He was just 9 years old and he didn't want to talk much, and he was believed, really he was believed, not to be able to learn any other foreign language other than Turkish or any other things. And actually he was believed not to be able to do anything to achieve in his life. Yes, he was diagnosed with a kind of learning disability, but we preferred to see some abilities among his disabilities. And we, in our schools, by including him in the normal process, we made him believe himself at first. Do you know what? Sometimes these children really don't know what the meaning of disability is until their family enrolled them in special schools. Every time he went to his schools, I mean in these normal schools, the family told me that he had regular violent outbursts because his teachers all abandoned attempts to educating him. You know, maybe there is a very common story. A father said to his daughter, "You graduated with honors and here is your car I acquired many years ago. It's several years old, but before I give it to you, take it to the used car lot downtown and tell them I want to sell it and see how much they offer you." The daughter went to the used car lot and returned to her father and said, "They offered me just $1,000. Why you give me just this old car? I graduated with honors. And because of it looks very worn out," he said. And then the father said, "Take it to the pawn shop." And the daughter went to the pawn shop, returned to her dad and said that, "Now they just offer me $100. And because it's really, really old car." And the father again said that, "Take it to the antique car dealer and see how it's value." And she took the car, and the offer was thousands and thousands of dollars. What I wanna show Arda, this guy or the others, we should teach them that these children should never seek their importance through the standards of the world. We will never let them forget their own value as teachers, because every one of them is unique and very, very valuable. We should teach them that their value doesn't decrease based on the standards or based on someone's inability to see their worth. And by saying this someone, at first we are teachers. Yes, coming back to Arda's story, actually without needing to find a special school, his education would have been appropriate. I've been thinking this for a long time. I've been teaching for 17 years, and I've been really thinking for this for a long time. Okay, there are millions of kids with intellectual disabilities, and we send them special schools. By doing this, you don't give every child the same space to learn. You just allocate a different setting for a few children and call it special education. How ironic is that? Isn't it terrible? If a space is already creating a segregation among children, if a space is teaching us not to live with people who are not your kind, doesn't this give harm to these children? When schools are already creating a divide, then how we expect harmony to prosper on its own in this world? We, thanks to this inclusive education system, managed to make our children discover their abilities among their disabilities by including them in the normal process. What happened to Arda, that guy that I mentioned at the beginning of my story? His archery skill has been discovered, and now he attends tournaments and he gets medals. Last month, he just met Mete Gazos, Olympic champion in archery in the Olympics. And by the way, as a linguist, I'm a linguist who particularly works on teaching foreign languages to those children. It was my duty to teach him another language, and now he speaks English very well. Although all other people say that he cannot learn anything. My dear friends, yes, I agree that these children can't learn all academic lessons and by this traditional type of education. That's why we need a new design. And I'm here to tell you this new design. In this new design, the best example of the application of school of social model of disability to educational approaches, it's based on neuroscientific evidence that individuals who vary widely in their backgrounds, abilities, and motivations have different learning needs and different learning styles. We defend the creation and implementation of teaching materials, methods that reduce barriers in the learning environment that make learning accessible for all students. How can this be achieved, actually? First, we should offer students multiple methods of representation of course and information, yes, but by using multiple diverse formats, not just text, but digital formats in this technological world, and audiobooks, by charts, graphs, pictures, even music, we do this. I mean materials that connect students' backgrounds, languages, and experiences. I mean materials that will help us realize their value, their skill. Second, we should offer students multiple means for expressing what they know. And not just written expression, it is so old-fashioned, but verbal expression that can be achieved through their performance. Like Arda, now he's attending archery tournaments. And maybe the creation of artistic works through jewelry design or even a film production all these do in our schools. Third, we should offer these students multiple means of engagement for motivation. You know, motivation is the key to learn things such as collaborative works or group projects through role play or game, service learning that can put knowledge inside of the classroom to life outside of it. Yes, it is high time we gave up traditional methods as it's kind of attempt that just to diverse learners to typically inflexible curricula and materials, that's all. We should proactively create these materials at the outset to make them adapt the needs of diverse learners. We should give up one form of assessments, as you said before me, we should give up one form of school design that tend to privilege one type of learner. As Einstein said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life by believing that it is just stupid. Let's imagine Arda. At the beginning, he believed so. Yes, where is my Arda? Yes. These are my disabled children from all over the world, Turkey or any other countries, and they have been discovered by their diverse skills. This is a video in England, I think. Maybe could you please open the voice of that video? He is autistic. Yes. You cannot hear, but what he says was so emotional and was really important, because We always say that autism is not an illness, it's just a condition, and we never segregate them. We all include in our normal educational process, and now he has a job, and although many teachers say that he cannot really learn anything, now he's one of the best students. I wish you could hear his voice, but we're gonna continue by these later. Yes, so today I'm here with you as an inclusive educator and disability ally who believe in valuing student differences and supporting their needs to the greatest extent. To do this, before concluding my remarks, I want to mention about your bias in your mind. Yes, if you have a brain, you have some bias. This is inevitable. However, we should at first learn by ourselves and then teach our teachers and parents how to actively mitigate our bias. As SEV, our non-profit organization, through our seminars, we help parents and teachers to mitigate their bias about these disabled children. Why? Because, especially why mothers? Because mothers of these children suffer as much as them. I want to remind you the importance of moms through a real story maybe you all know, nevertheless, let's share it again here. One day, Thomas Alva Edison came home and gave a paper to his mom. He told her, "My teacher gave this paper to me and told me, only give it to your mom." His mother's eyes were tearful, and as she read the letter out loud to her child, "Your son is a genius, and the school is too small for him and doesn't have enough good teachers for training him. Please teach him yourself." Many years after, Edison's mother died, and he was now one of the greatest inventors of the century. One day, he was looking through all family things, and suddenly he saw a folded paper in the corner of a drawer in a desk. He took it and opened it up. On the paper, it was written, "Your son is mentally ill. We won't let them come to the school anymore." Edison cried for hours and hours. Then he wrote in this diary, "Thomas Alva Edison was a mentally ill child but by a hero mother became the genius of the century." We all know very well that providing each child an equal opportunity for their educational progress still remains a challenge worldwide. Although several laws prohibit any exclusion from educational opportunities, providing an inclusive education system still has barriers. SEV, our non-profit organization, as you can see with millions of examples there for 17 years, works with governments and partners to address exclusion from and inequality in education. We pay special attention to children with disabilities because they are overrepresented in the population of those who are not in this education. My dear friends, segregation or segregated education leads to segregated lives. When we started to promote inclusive education, we learned that it not only benefits for children with disabilities, it provided a better education for all. If we don't bring into disabled children, children with special needs into the development of mainstream, it will be impossible even to cut poverty or to give every boy and girl a chance to achieve primary education by the same day. No matter which country we live in, we all know that at schools we divide children according to their marks. Just to say that these are bright children, let's send them to section A, or these are the dumb ones, let's send them section B. Inclusion is a way of thinking. It's a mindset. It's not just a program that we run in a classroom, in our school, or it's not a favor we do for someone. Inclusion is who we are. It's not who we must just strive to be, actually. And please don't forget that children don't understand marks, race, failure, dumps, etc. if we don't put these labels in their minds. But now, I want to ask you, what is your personal philosophy of inclusion? Before you ask me questions, I want to ask you this question. What is your personal philosophy of inclusion? Which is the best school? The ones that accept all diversities, or the ones that say this is a special child and send him or her away? Please today answer this question using your heart and head. Why these children with special needs come to our life? Why we find all these children from all over the world? This is my answer: to leave their footprints on our hearts, and we are never same. Please don't forget that sometimes real heroes live in the hearts of small children, fighting with big battles. So, are you convinced? Thank you, but really I need more proof about this. I really need more proof. There is no escape. There is no escape from educational justice, because educational justice is everyone's job. If we do it together, nothing will stop us. Diversity is a fact. Equality is a choice. Inclusion is an action. And belonging is a solution. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of education. Thank you very much, and I'm ready for your questions. Yes. Do you have any questions? I wish I could show all my slides, but yes. Yes, please.
So my question was, so I do understand, like, you're working with all these different children from all around the world. What are some methods that, I know learning's different for everyone, but how do you assess that, and how do you include that in doing that whole learning process? Like, how do you incorporate, and how do you figure out what works for who?
Okay, we work with neurologists and psychologists, and besides psychiatrists, because some of them really, they need some medicine as well for their intellectual disabilities, like attention disorders, or this kind of ones. So what we do with our non-profit organization in our schools, we have many schools all over Turkey, and we are trying to spread all these schools all over the world, because not only in Turkey, all over the world we see this segregation. So we have a team. We find especially some families who are not able to send their children to special schools, because they are in some parts of the world they are paid, so expensive, and then we include these children in our normal process, and our psychiatrists, psychologists, and neurologists make some physical assessments, some trainings, and then at the same time we educate the parents of normal schools, because at first they should learn that they shouldn't discriminate these disabled ones. So it's really a tough process, but at first we educate normal students' parents, we educate disabled students' parents, and we work with all these with a really dedicated team, including neurologists. We have an assessment system, and now we have digitalized this, some psychological tests, some brain tests, and at first we define the problem, and we include this child into normal system by educating the other children as well, and we become sure that he or she is never been excluded because of his or her disabilities, and we find some key points that what is she unique, like Arda's example. He's good at in archery now, and he's become a really famous archer now in Turkey. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes, please.
Hi, I want to commend you because I did my K-12 education in Turkey, first of all,
Nice.
and I see that you've come a long way. And being somebody who has dyslexia and struggled with that throughout my K-12 education, I see that this is a wonderful initiative. I'm going to play devil's advocate, however, because who are you helping? You're helping those who have a learning disability, yes, and you're doing the right thing, but at what expense for those who do not have that? At what expense are you holding those who are excelling in other ways back by helping those who need it?
Right, thank you very much. It's really nice that you have been in Turkey and you have studied this. My special interest area is as well teaching foreign languages in dyslexic children, and I have made a lot of research and experiments on it. Yes, what expands for the others, actually, it depends on how we should measure this, because in our schools we have a charity organization called Say Event. We have determined some criteria. We never measure children depending on their, I mean with not only disabled children, I mean our normal children. I don't want to say just normal because everybody is normal for me, but for the other children we have a different system. In our schools we never determine their abilities or success by their marks, so it depends on how we measure it. We measure it by care, by love, so it depends on the measurement system, I think. Yes, any other question? Okay, thank you very much. I wish I could show my videos, but I hope for the next time. Enjoy.